babysit her or anything. She despises me that much.
There you go. That's good.
Yep, one less person for me to have to worry about taking care of. One less person for me to worry about watching. So I mean, it's sad, but it's not sad at the same time. So, well, anything else interesting happened to you this weekend?
Actually, I didn't have much of an interesting weekend. Like I said, I just stayed at home. I took a break from reading high end material, so I've been reading For Whom the Bell Tolls by Ernest Hemingway, and it's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
My boy writes like he's in the third grade, but everybody in this country seems to think he's the American author and stuff. Hemingway, he's a interesting kind of writer, but he's not that good. I don't think he's that good. Tell you the truth. He writes short sentences, very bullet kind. In using his short sentences, he tries to describe the scenes. He does do a good job at describing scenes, though. I guess he's all right. He's Ernest Hemingway, so
yeah.
And I'm Trooper Joe, so I guess he does good.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go against Ernest Hemingway.
Yeah, but he does it. It's not like some other American authors that write. Some poets and stuff. That write. So it's easy reading. It's kind of fun reading sometimes. Because he is so descriptive, it drags a little bit.
Right.
It's good, and he has a knack of putting two stories together in the same time, maybe even three. While he's telling the story, he does have a certain knack of melting them all together. So which is kind of interesting. So he's a good American writer, I guess, because we're so schizophrenic in our thoughts that we need to have like 20 going at the same time, but they never finish.
Right. So there's other stuff that you did this weekend. You watched a documentary.
Yeah, I watched a sometime last week and this weekend. On white privilege.
Yes. And you thought it was fascinating.
There ain't no such thing as white privilege, folks.
Yes, there is.
Even the white privilege people don't think there's anything as white privilege. It's like, it doesn't exist. There is no physical manifestation of privilege for white people. No. There's money privilege.
Yes, there's money privilege.
Power privilege.
Power privilege. There's male privilege.
There's male privilege.
You want to know why there's male privilege?
Yeah.
Because they have the power in the country.
They do have the power.
You know who else has the power in the country?
Who they?
White people. They have the power in the country.
There's no white privilege. There's such a small minority of people that have all this big money in the country. That speaks to the whole thing. It's all about the money. It's all about the power. There's a lot of poor people who want to make themselves feel better by saying that there's white privilege and basing their white privilege on all the rich white people and acting like, well, see, there's more rich white people than there are rich black people. Yeah, there's more white people than there are black people, but there's no privilege. Nah, there's no privilege. And you can look at the statistics about crimes and all these things, and then if you look at it with your eyes open and in reality, most crime takes place in poorer neighborhoods.
Yes.
Then this goes to money. Most people that live in poorer neighborhoods are minorities.
Yes.
And
you just explained how that's privilege.
That's not privilege. That's because they don't have money.
Right. And so the white people are privileged to have more money.
No, there's a lot of bad choices that's being made within the inner city. I'm not going to say it that just because you're born outside the inner city that you're going to be special. Now, there's a lot of people within the inner city that's making bad choices. And you can go through and you can gem pick and find all these different little reasons why these people make bad choices. But
not as good education?
That's not a good education. But
That
what?
helps.
Yeah. What do you do about
Single
that?
family homes.
Single family homes? Yes. Not good
That
education? Yes. Health. Health's a big issue.
Yep, health.
And what do you do about it? They don't do anything about it.
Well, there's not much they can do. They can't have. What do you expect the poor people to do to change the healthcare system? They can't afford. They have to work all these hours just to afford to stay in their little three wall house that they live in, or apartment that they live in.
There's no instant automatic cure for it and stuff.
Exactly.
But what do they do? Put people in office that's going to take care of your interest. That's what you do. That's your starting point.
So you think they got to take advantage of voting?
Take advantage of everything that's written in the Constitution that's going to make life better for you. Not victimization. I don't see it in the Constitution. Maybe it's one of them other articles that they got to. You have the right to be a victim. You do. You got a right to be any kind of person that you want to be. But if you don't take advantage of what you have of rights that's written in the Constitution, then you're making a bad choice. If you don't vote just because you say, well, nothing's going to change, of course nothing's going to change. You didn't implement any change. You didn't give your little 1 cent in there.
And you know what you're doing right now, Troop?
What am I doing?
You're educating those who don't have education. So it's easy for you, the educated person that you are, the highly educated person that you are, by the way, extremely educated. Listen, you are the most educated person that I have ever known in my life, period. I've never met a person.
Get out, boy.
Maybe I do. I've never met a person more educated than yourself. However, you go to Chicago and you tell them to vote, the first thing they'll say is how. Yes, if you get past getting shot, if you dodge those bullets, that's the first thing that'll happen. The second thing is they'll say how. Then they'll say where. Yeah. Then they'll say when. Then they'll say how do we know when these things are coming up. Then you'll have to educate them on getting a newspaper. Yeah. And knowing what's going on in local politics.
Exactly.
Half of them can't spell the word politics, true.
That's quite all right.
It sounds like you're blaming these people.
I'm not blaming them, and you're absolutely correct. There are some people out there that really live in a place of their own making.
A lot of them.
Yeah, and that place that they live in, it's comfortable for them.
It's all they know, not comfortable. Well, yeah, it's comfortable because they don't realize that there's anything else.
Exactly. So got to do exactly what you just said. Got to go out there and tell them. If you want change, you got to vote. How do I vote? Well, this is how you got to fill out these papers and stuff like that. And this is how that you get so that you can vote. You got to have this. Okay. Now, when do I go do it? Well, you go in here November 7th. You go on November 7th to this place right here. Go to that place right there on that street. And then you go inside there, and if you're confused, ask somebody. And they'll help you. And then cast your vote for somebody who's going to look out for your interest.
All right.
Not somebody who's not going to look out for your interest.
So if you are listening to the words of Trooper Joe, then you have just been instructed on how to stop white privilege. We never said there's a way to get rid of white privilege. We're just saying that it exists. And now, if you listen to the wise words of the most educated man that I know, Trooper Joe, there is a way for you to get yourself out of the white privilege that is holding you down. The systemic racism that is holding you down, there is a way to get through it.
Look at. All you people out there who I just said about all these little steps to go vote with.
Yep.
And he says systemic racism, and I bet your little heads are going like, yeah, it's systemic racism. And so if you know what systemic is, just not voting, then what's up with that?
The poor people...
The poor people can speak very, very eloquently, but they don't know how to vote. Of course they don't. It's not white privilege. It's self-induced victimization.
You want to know how blessed you are, Troop?
Thank you.
You want to know how blessed? You are so blessed that you are equating people such as our friends as being poor. Such as...
No, I don't think anybody... I think poverty's in the eye of the beholder. you know, there's a level of poverty that you have that has numbers on it and stuff. But if it's a cultural type of thing and you want to live in it, if it's more important for you to buy $200 pair of sneakers and a $300 pair of pants
Yep.
than to pay the electric bill, or to go buy a book to read, or do something of that nature to educate yourself further and everything, that's your business.
True, you're assuming that these people in these poor neighborhoods, I'm talking about people in neighborhoods like St. Louis, Baltimore, Chicago, they can't afford to pay their electric bill. Now we're talking now.
But they're naked.
Now you know the type of people. They're not naked, but you know the people that you're equating. This is what you're doing. You're equating people such as our friends like Nate and Keith and Mike. You're equating them to the people that live in real poverty. There is real poverty that's not in Worcester.
Yeah.
Worcester doesn't have. Worcester is a blessed city.
It is.
Worcester does not have the poverty that some of these cities. You take some of the poorest people in Worcester, even the people living on the streets, and you put them in Baltimore or Chicago or St. Louis,
They'd be scared
they
to death.
lose their ever-loving minds. They'd have no idea how
They
to
would.
exist.
Hey,
There's a
totally.
level of poverty. Those people don't know what white privilege or systemic racism is. Those people, they can't afford to buy the $200 shoes or anything like that. Those are the people that are killing each other at night and selling drugs, and that's how they afford those sneakers and things like that. Now you're right about what you're saying, but I think what you're doing is you're equating people that we know that live in the lower class with poverty. There's rich. There's middle class, there's lower class, and then there's poverty. Poverty. Now, we talking about the poverty people.
I know poverty. I know poor. I know all those type of things. I also know that in this country, if you really, really, truly want to be able to dig your way out of the hole that you're in, you can.
Yep.
I
You can.
know
It's
can.
possible.
It's not easy.
Not even close to
Not even easy and stuff. And there are, not that there's agencies out there and organizations out there to help you.
Mhm.
There are agencies and organizations out there to help you.
Yep.
But the best way for you to get some help out there is right from the person sitting right next to you.
Mm-hmm.
Your friends. You know, if you want to be, if you got friends that just want to smoke a bone at 10 o'clock in the morning, because that's when they got up at quarter of,
Mhm.
and then say, oh man, I was going to go look for a job today, but I get it tomorrow. And you just want to hang out with them and do the same thing, then you're not going to get anywhere.
Right.
But if you want to even tell your friends, hey, put the bone down, let's go find this job. Let's go down here and see what they got available and stuff. Let's do this. Eventually, they're going to put the bone down, and then you, with them, walk out the door.
Right.
And start looking for the places that were going to help you, but for the job that you need, or whatever it is that you need. You know, to sit back here and just do nothing about it, and just, I don't even know how you can afford those. Those are expensive.
Right.
You know, but then with that, that's what you get.
Yes.
At the end, look here. See, it seems to be a metaphor for living in the city, because the little part of that marijuana that's left,
Mm-hmm.
what's it called?
The roach.
The roach.
Yep.
Who collects the rent in most of the impoverished areas in this country? The roach.
Okay.
So it's like all you gotta do is when taking that. Oh, that's a roach. I don't want no more roaches. So you gonna get the roaches on the other side too, because you ain't doing anything to get rid of anything.
All right. So, Troop's suggestion to you guys is to get off the drugs, stop
Get off the
smoking
drugs.
that weed, and
Get up
I cannot disagree with that.
and
But
wash your face.
but I want to be a little bit more encouraging than Troop to just wash your face and get rid of the drugs, even though that is what we need to do. Ephesians 6:12 says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against powers, against things not of in the spiritual realm." There are
That's
things
true.
that are going against you. Sometimes I bet when you are living in, because I don't even live in poverty. I'm lower class, but I don't live in poverty. And sometimes it just feels like the whole world is against me, and I don't understand it all. I don't understand why. I just feel beat down. There are things that are against you that you can't even see. There's people that hate you and you don't understand why they hate you. There's people that you dislike and you don't know why you dislike them. All I want to say to you is stay strong and continue to improve and try to get yourself better and try to get that education. And I'm not talking about just book education and go to school and get and learn math and things like that. Yes, that is the important education, but I'm talking from a sociology standpoint.
You got it.
Yeah, sociology?
Sociological.
Oh, sociological standpoint. Thank you. See, I don't got it all together, but at least I know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Sociological standpoint, where you got to know what's going on in your city, know what's going on with who's running and what the next potential mayor or potential city council is going to do for you and for your streets. You know, you got to worry about health care and welfare and things like that, because
you do.
Being in the lower class, you're going to need welfare and you're going to need health care and you're going to need assistance to help get yourself out of the hole. But once you get those assistance, don't stay there. Get yourself out so you can become self-sufficient. Once you become self-sufficient, then you don't need this world can't touch you. There's no white privilege that can touch you. There's no male privilege that can touch you. And once you reach that level, then Trooper Joe is 1,000% correct. White privilege does not exist.
Exactly, it doesn't exist.
You have to reach that level, though. You have to reach that level first.
You're right, and you can tune in to Archangel of Mature to Chivalry this Wednesday from 3 to 4 on Blog Talk Radio, because Trooper Joe's going to be talking about the most powerful thing that exists in this world today that most people are afraid of, and that's love.
Okay, all right. People are afraid of love?
People are totally afraid of love, because they're afraid that if they love somebody, especially the people that's going to have self-imposed victimization, it makes they feel that makes them look like a weaker individual, and they become somebody that it is a victim. It's like it doesn't work that way. It's just the opposite. People are really afraid to show their love.
Sounds like it's a problem with them loving themselves.
Mostly that's where it begins, from loving themselves. And people have a problem with loving themselves. And it's always been there. Even when they recite right out the Bible, they say, and Jesus said, the first order is to love God. And the second one is like that, to love thy neighbor as thyself.
As you love yourself.
They run over as themselves.
They're
afraid of that love. They're afraid to love their neighbor. No, well, he'll take advantage of me. She'll take advantage of me. Now, I don't want to get hurt, so I'm not going to love somebody. There's a whole lot of love that just really, and in my talk, I think I'm going to talk a little bit about how we've lost the poetic mindset, and we replaced that poetic mindset with a mindset of just whatever the television has trending at the time.
Okay. You know what I think about loving yourself? I think in this country, in this society, we let our outward circumstances determine our love for ourselves, instead of our inward loving ourselves controlling and determining our circumstances.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll let some just like we're about to talk about with Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby.
I love everybody.
Yep, Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, Bill O'Reilly. There are people that would allow Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, and Bill O'Reilly to do whatever they want to them just so they can get ahead.
Yes.
Just so they can get an advantage in life. And that's because they are letting their outside circumstances determine their amount of love they have in themselves, instead of loving themselves and letting that determine their circumstances. I am preaching today, people. All right. I think what we might do is we got enough time. We could just go right into Harvey Weinstein right now. Now, this Harvey Weinstein scandal has been going on for about 2 weeks now.
Oh yeah.
And I have not touched this subject at all, because I'm so afraid.
You're afraid?
I'm afraid to get in trouble with women.
Yeah, exactly. This is very... Whew, this is a taboo.
However, after this whole Me Too, and I saw the amount of response to this Me Too thing, so usually on YouTube, Troop, right?
Yeah.
If you get 1 million views, you've made it.
Oh yeah.
You've made it. If you get 1 million views, you've made it.
You good.
What happened with this Me Too thing was there was an accuser, 2 accusers that came out of nowhere and accused Harvey Weinstein of sexually assaulting them or sexually harassing them.
Yeah.
After that, an actress named Alyssa Milano came out and said, I want all women to come out now and say Me Too, hashtag Me Too.
Me too. Yeah, I saw that.
Over 1.3 million tweets of Me Too came following that.
Yeah.
And the first time in a while, I felt encouraged and discouraged at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I felt encouraged because a lot of women are coming out now and saying Me Too, this happened to me too. Heck, I'm a man and I could say Me Too. Because things like that have happened to me before. But I'm discouraged because 1.6 million women have come out, but they were silent this whole time.
Exactly.
And how many other, that 1.3 million could have possibly been just 500,000 had half of those women came out when it happened to them.
I agree. That's a possibility that a lot of the things wouldn't be taking place that taking place.
Right.
People had to just come out.
Right. Now, I'm not trying to, they call this victim blaming whenever you want to put responsibility on the women. So I'm going to try to walk this fine line. I don't think I wouldn't want to say, I don't want to say it's your fault.
No.
That you didn't control that man, to have that man attack you the way he did. And I know that some of you women were concerned with your careers because people like Harvey Weinstein, if you went against him, if you came up, people like Bill Cosby, if you went against his power that he had in Hollywood and Harvey Weinstein's power in Hollywood, you probably would not be able to work in Hollywood again.
Yeah, exactly.
And there were instances of Bill Cosby, even last year, using his Hollywood power. There was an interview where the woman was asking Bill Cosby about the rape allegations, and Bill Cosby stopped the interview and said, I want to speak to the owner of this network because I want them to make sure that this woman knows not to harass me. And he tried to use his name of Bill Cosby to try to control the entire situation.
Yeah, it's all about money and all about power.
Yep.
And they didn't call Hollywood, I think they called it Tinseltown.
Yes.
It's like, it's not real. It's a make-believe world.
Right. But it's once again, it's a hub, it's an infestation of people who who let the outside control their love for themselves.
Yeah.
And what those women and some men do, they will do unspeakable acts just to get the part or get the role or get a name for themselves in Hollywood.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm not first-hand knowledge about any of that, but I have to agree from what I see that the power, it's not just Hollywood, it's all over the place. People just haven't come out about it.
Right.
You know, and that power like that, and it's a male abusing these powers on the women.
Right.
And the women abusing themselves by not coming forward first. And I don't know about the psychological thing, but you don't know what it's like and the shame that you're going to feel and internalize. I have no clue about all that stuff like that. I know that if you have come out before the incident began and just say, you know, we had that program, just say no. And I think it got abused. Right. I really think that program of Just Say No was too open-ended and it became abusive. That you know, that it some kind of thing came out of that well, you can be with the man and the woman and you're drinking all day, you know, and you're playing all in, you're sucking face and stuff like this, and all these outside things are taking place like this, and then she says, no. And go,
right, and then that's it.
And everybody has to instantly become mature, righteous, and have a lot of integrity and say, you know, you're right. Yep. You said no, and I'm gonna honor that stuff like it's
Right.
like, okay, maybe somebody can, but I doubt if there's a large majority of people that be able to handle that.
Well, there's four men: Harvey Weinstein, Bill
And
Cosby,
they're wrong.
the guy from Amazon Video, and Bill O'Reilly. Those are the four
Yeah.
names that I can think of right off the top of my head.
And they're just predators. They're just evil predators abusing their power for their own self-aggrandizement or something. Whatever they're doing it for. They're just doing it. And they're wrong. They need to be imprisoned.
Yep, they need to be stoned.
Just stone them.
But what my thought is that these 1.3 million Me Too women,
Yeah.
they need to come out and they need to speak out against what happened to them. Because if you think those four men in Hollywood are the only four men
Yeah.
that are doing things like that, you got to be crazy. It's a culture,
Yeah, it's a
a
Western
culture of men
Yeah.
in Hollywood.
Not just Hollywood.
Right, in New York too.
In
Powerful
Worcester.
men. In Worcester, yep.
Sure, it's
Yep, powerful men
Yeah.
that are getting away with doing these things, and they're getting away with it still because your Me Too's are only Me Too's.
Yeah.
And your Just Say No's are just Say No's.
Yeah.
I want to encourage the women to do more. They have to come out and they have to say what is happening to them, what these men are doing to them.
Yeah, and I want to say something to the men out there. Really, is it that important to grab a girl on her behind or something like that? It's like, really, what's up with that? Is it really that important to try to seduce a woman who doesn't want any part of you? I
Right.
think that a lot of these men do this because you've never really challenged yourself in any other arena. I think a lot of these men, yeah, you made money and stuff like that, and people can make money. It's not that hard really to make money. You just have to be. There's a lot of luck involved in it.
Yep.
But then where's the challenge after that? If you think the challenge is I call it a hooray for me wall. I had a friend, he's a SEAL, and he had a hooray for me wall. He had his little SEAL trident up there, and he had a couple of his little medals up there, his Navy SEAL thing and everything, and he had it on his bedroom wall. But underneath his bedroom wall was an imaginary place where he hang women underwear. It was a hooray for me wall to pick up women.
Wow.
I mean, that's what he used it for.
Mm.
Well, that's what he used his hooray for me wall as a pickup thing. It worked for him. But it's like, come on, There's other things that you can do in the world besides just think and beat yourself on the chest because you're able to pick up a woman and stuff. And the women, it's like, you don't have to play that game. You guys are in control, but it's really utilize the control you have. The women are definitely way more smarter than the men.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I think women make much better in not all circumstances, but in a lot of the circumstances, I think of life, that I think the women are the more powerful. I think they're the smarter. I think they're the more reasonable. I think that but then if we're just measuring stuff by the machismo man image and stuff, no, you're not as strong. No, you might be having a long endurance than a man. That might happen, but you're not as strong. You can't go and beat up a man. I don't care if you're an ultimate fighter. You still ain't gonna make it. Those type of things. And then risk taking. Men definitely take more risks than women because men are more. They come from a place of play. Women come up from a place of data collective rationality. So men are more likely able to take a risk on a gut feeling than a woman. She's going to have something to back it up. Show me the data. It's like, she thinks they're like Sherlock Holmes.
I'm about to ask you to show me the data. Where the hell do you get this stuff from?
This is just my opinion. I get this stuff from watching. I'm an anthropologist.
Okay.
I get this stuff from watching different cultures and read about different cultures. They're all the same. when it all comes down to it, and they're all the same. Hunter-gatherer society. The
How?
women's gathering all day long, taking care of the kids, cooking the food, and old guys over there talking about, man, did you see how I killed that deer? Boy, I was around that tree like, boom.
All right. So in this culture, do you think women? I'm about to get myself in trouble. Oh Lord, forgive me. And in this culture, do you think women are more emotional than men?
Oh, yes.
So how do they collect more data if they go off emotion more?
They
Men analyze and collect data longer than women do.
No, it looks like men do, because men come out there and talk about it at the end. The woman's emotion is really driven to stay the course.
Okay.
You know, if they're emotional, emotion just ain't about crying and all this kind of stuff like that. They're happiness and jumping around, but they're emotional and passionate about. I want to make change in doing this. They'll stay the course a lot longer than the guy. Golly, I want to make change. What's in it for me? I don't know. Well, what do you want? Well, I want to pick up Mary Sue over there. Okay. It's a game for them. They changed it into a game. There's no data collection anymore. It's a game. How am I going to win the game?
Okay.
The woman, how am I going to collect the data so that I can best be able to get myself into this here? But don't get me wrong. Women go in with a defeatist attitude too.
I think women are more calculated.
They are more calculated, and they still go in with a defeatist attitude. They still hold in the background that I'll be discriminated against. They got all this nice little list of why it's not going to work, and they got the hopes over here that this is going to work if I only do this. You know?
Okay.
If I only can do this. This is what's going to make it work, and that's how they go. Guys have it similar. They have it, this might work because these people over here, they're going to hold me down. They're going to try to stop. They can't stop me. Let me see, how am I going to get around this? You know, they're willing to take that risk and put it all out there. The woman's not.
Yes. Yep.
You know?
Okay, you want to know an example that I agree that fits your theory is when men and women cheat.
When they cheat.
Men cheat, they just stupid.
Dude,
they just
put
do
it
it.
on the wall.
They just go.
Hang
they
up,
just,
throw dots.
right. They do, and then they try to cover up their mistakes, and then they get caught.
Yeah, all the
Women
time.
are much more calculated.
Yeah.
I remember a study where the women reviewed the women that filled out the questionnaire, the men filled out the questionnaire. The women, they said they have more emotional attachment to the person that they're cheating with. A man is more than likely to cheat with another woman and not want anything further than that just sexual encounter.
Yeah.
Than a woman does. A woman, they want they do it because they feel emotionally spent, neglected, and physically neglected.
Yeah.
So that fits your theory.
That comes back to a man throughout history. He's one of his major purposes. He's going to be the provider. He thinks, with bringing in the food, and he's going to be the procreator.
Right.
He going to impregnate everything that moves.
Yep.
And so they got this behavioral thing that dates back to Neanderthal, beyond Neanderthals, way before Australopithecines. That's mine. He just pointing all over the place. The woman, she's the real backbone of the family. She's the one that's going to take care of the family. She's the one that's going to nurture and raise the family.
More than likely, because if we say that's the one that they're going to do, there'll be some women. I hope you know that my husband takes care of the family and I go to work every day. You kind of.
It's changing now, but that's the
culture.
More than culture. It's hard to say what it is. It's almost within it's the culture, but it's the behavioral kind of science to the whole thing. This is how it's been. Women are definitely the nurturers, definitely the more smarter, definitely the ones that are definitely got more about the family than the men. The men just want to spread that seed everywhere they can.
Yep.
They don't care. Walking by the street, that's why you got all these problems.
Yeah, that's what
they just like, I'm here. Let's have sex. Let's make babies.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted. That's what they want to do. and yeah, you're absolutely correct. The emotional part of women is way more overly developed than with a man.
Right.
Not that men aren't emotional. Man, I'm a very emotional person. I got emotions.
Yes, I am. I am very emotional too.
Yeah.
I'm more emotional than my wife is.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife.
Oh yeah.
She's more angry than I am.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm way more emotional. Why don't we talk? Why don't we hug? Why are we like this? Why? Yeah, I am. I'm more.
Because I'm not in the game to get those
Right,
things
I'm-
on the wall.
She's worried about getting stuff done. I'm worried about being held.
And, but
Hold me.
that's what makes the woman stronger and stuff. Even though we pretend that they're not the strongest, they are the strongest. They get up in your face and stuff.
Yep.
You got to take the risk and got to beat the man down. Honey, the guy's 6'9". He goes.
Yep.
Look at, and he got guns and knives. But he's abusing the family. He's making threats towards our kids.
Right.
All right. Well, it's been nice marrying to you.
It's been nice knowing you. Yep. It's over after that.
Yeah. But that's how the woman get all up in the guy's face.
Right.
Protect
Yep.
him. And then the women talk about it.
You know why? Because they're not thinking calculatedly. They're not calculated. They're not thinking.
Their emotions.
Their
in it.
emotions, yep.
And then they justify this with a quote.
Yep.
You never get between a cub and a mama bear.
Yeah.
And they take this and they just sprinkle it all over themselves like there's all this magic fairy dust. And it's true.
Yep.
You don't get between a cub and a mama bear. But if you get between an abusive child who's going to be vicious and abusing you in a restaurant and a 4'11" woman, she's a fool. Take care of your kid.
Yep.
You know? Don't be. But they'll get all up in the base because that's how they understand what you're supposed to do,
Yep.
and that's their love and emotion. And I think it's great. Not for the guy. I hope he's. Your husband got to get in there sooner or later. You know?
Yeah.
Sooner or later, old hubby got to come in there and be the protector because that's part of his job.
Yeah. That's.
Provide.
I
protect,
fail that job.
And propagate and what do you call that? Propagate or just have babies.
Yep. All I know, populate. Yeah.
Populate it.
Whenever I'm in bed and we hear a weird noise in the kitchen or something, I send my wife. I don't care. Go check to see what that is. I said, really? Well, yeah. Look, take the bat. Take the bat if you need the bat, but go check to see
But
what
that's
that is.
just playing. I do the same thing.
Oh no, I do. I'm serious when I do it. I ain't
The
doing that.
guys play. They hear it. What's that?
Yeah.
It's like, and then, oh, that's the same thing you say every night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what is it?
Right.
Yeah, that's just playing because, if there's anything that really going to happen, guy gets out the bed and he got to go down and check out what's going
Right.
on.
Yes, Joy. Did you hear that? I was just playing when I'm scared and I
Guys
don't,
just play.
and I'm under the blankets and I do not get up for nothing, and you got to go check to see what it is. I'm just playing.
Guys, women, that's the biggest problem with the guys. They don't know how not to play. They never matured from being a boy.
Yep.
The women are starting to play more than they used to in the day. Back in my day, it didn't matter. You going someplace and the last word you hear, if you're going as a family, is to the sister. Take care of your brothers.
Mm-hmm.
The brother could be 8 years older than the sister. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Take care of your brother.
Right.
Watch your because everybody know. They never said, but everybody knows guys can't do anything but play. That's all they know how to do. That's all they want to do. They want to play all the time. Go to the golf course. The guys on there playing all the time. Women are starting to break out there, and then you watch. Oh, she's good. Much better than the guy. Yeah, they're more calculating. They'll practice more. They'll find out how this is done, and they'll find out the best way to do it. The guy, he just be having a ball with it and stuff like that. They go have a beer. And one of the things that I remember is when women first started to go to men's clubs.
Okay.
Men didn't want him in the clubs.
Nope. Still don't.
And they said why they didn't want him in the club. They said they're not going to come in here and obey the rules.
Right.
And then when they let the women in the club, one of the rules is no business conducted in the club.
Yep.
Okay, women said, okay, I can handle that. First thing they do is start doing business.
Yep.
Asking business questions. Because they didn't understand the hidden subculture of the club.
Right.
Business, or what will I call it? Ally collecting, getting allies on your side was done in the men's room.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it took place.
Yep.
You're standing in the urinal with your manliness out. He's standing in the urinal with his manliness out. And you say, well, what do you think about this upcoming vote that's going to be coming in a couple of weeks about how we're going to make the company go forward?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been thinking of this is where they do their business, not out there in the field, inside the club where they're just hanging out doing stupid stuff or anything. No business. But women can't go in the bedroom.
Nope, they can't.
So knowing that they were at a disadvantage, they broke the rules.
Yep.
Yeah, they knew that was going to happen because they got in already, got the foot in the door, and then they broke the rules.
And that's why they should not be allowed because they rule breakers. Should not allow the rule breakers to continue their tyranny.
Yeah, they calculated breaking the rules.
Yep.
You know, they knew they had to because they couldn't do the business.
Right.
You know.
All right, Troop, what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back,
Finish on these guys.
yeah, we got to
This
talk
guys.
about Connie Luke's and Joe Petty's debate.
Oh.
In Massachusetts, two pit bulls maul a 7-year-old boy, and they put down one of the pit bulls, and they should have never put the pit bull down.
No?
Nope, they should have let the pit bull live.
Oh,
All right, we'll be back on Truth in the AM.